Hello, 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 ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the G1 League broadcast. This is phase number 2 of the qualifier. On the Radiant side, it is the Chain Stacks, and on the Dire, the Rising Stars, as I so endearingly call it. This is a Beyond the Summit presentation between Luminous and Gods. Gods, are you still with us?
Yes, I am. How are you?
I am doing great. You are cheering for the Australian team, although there's one Australian. And I'm cheering for the Rising Star, the Chinese masters at growing stuff and agriculture. Are they even Chinese? They're Chinese, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
good.
They've got a super impersonator, so to all you super fans out there, it is a different super, but he plays a
Definitely not
game.
Yuru.
No, definitely not Euro. But yeah, I'll be cheering for the Australian team, which is the Chain Stack. It's the only time I'll cheer against the Chinese is when there's Australians playing, and well, this team qualifies as an Australian enough team for me.
All right, sounds good. One Australian is already enough. Darkseer is going to be opening pick here for the Chain Stacks here after banning out Lifesteal and Keeper of Light. Meanwhile, Rising Star is going to be picking Nyx Assassin, Bat Rider, while getting rid of, or picking up the Hornomancer as well as Queen of Pain.
I thought it was the Rhino Mentor.
Oh, well, Valve definitely has issues changing names every other 2 hours, so.
I'll get on to Ice Froggy, but we're going to see Chain Stack go with, well, Anti-Mage, Shadow Demon. They've done a lot of this. They like to pick Chains, some kind of hard late-game carry. I don't mean to criticize, but they're somewhat one-trick pony. This is their strategy. They like to get that hard carry. They sometimes go offensive trialing and run the Anti-Mage as a safe lane solo, but they almost always have some kind of a hard carry for Chains.
Yeah, I feel like we've seen these drafts enough time to kind of predict how it really goes. We haven't seen too much kind of out of ordinary. I know I say that after having a Doom pick earlier, so let's see if these two teams going to be surprising us. I think the Rising Star actually did a Wisp with the Anti-Mage before, or was I just... We've been casting so many different games and different teams. Maybe I'm confusing them with it.
Oh, that was Rising Stars.
That was Rising Stars, right? So, okay.
It was their Captain Super playing the Wisp.
Yes. So, okay. So that's the team that won Anti-Mage Wisp. So, again, there is something that's going to be out of ordinary, especially when you pick your first two solo right here and now. You have a lot of room for kind of maneuvering and stuff.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of picking the two solos with your first pick, but it's not the worst thing in the world. And they also even going to get their carry as well. They grab the Faceless Void, so they have got a hard carry of their own. This, to me, looks like we may see 15-20 minutes of very passive Dota. Both teams likely just to run a safe lane trial lane, unless we see that sort of safe lane anti-mage in that 1v1 matchup and an offensive trial lane coming out from the Chain Stack. But I feel the more reliable and consistent way is just to go with that safe lane trial lane, something which quite likely both teams will do here.
Gods, make sure that you have your in-game audio going on. We just had a very, very tough matchmaking game, and of course during matchmake, we have our Dota TV sound off. In any case here, we're in the second stage of the ban, as we do have quite a bit of support heroes being banned out from both sides. Although it's actually strange to see the Rising Star ban out supports, because that's exactly and the only thing they need right now. Twin Head Dragon or Jakiro is one of the kind of the best combo with Faceless Void, if you think about it, but it seems like they're a little bit more worried about the initiation range of the Chain Stack. Shadow Demon, long range initiation with the Purge. You don't want, of course, the Twin Head Dragon on top of that. And Lina being banned out to really prevent the big DPS output with Shadow Demon. Meanwhile, on the other side, banning out big AoE heroes, Rubik and Sanking.
And, well, I think this works out well for Chain Stack, because not only are they banning supports, but so are Rising Stars. And right now, Rising Stars don't have anything as far as support go. Chain Stack have already got themselves a Shadow Demon, one of the most versatile, fantastic early, mid, late game support heroes in the game. They're not too worried about what else may be getting banned out, and as a result, Rising Stars are going to be very limited as far as support heroes go. So they're going to sort of have to look towards Disruptor. Chen's even being banned out. They are really limited as far as options here. Maybe we even go towards something like a support Windrunner.
Yeah, support Windrunner is definitely a thing. I'm thinking of support heroes that maybe combo well with that Chronosphere. And here's a support that Chain Stack will still love to pick up, Shadow Demon and Leshrac. Give them that early game killing power as well as tower pushing power. But again, what combos well with Faceless Void? Crystal Maiden has some decent AoE, although Chronosphere plus her Freezing Field, not exactly a too well-placed combo. Anything else I'm missing, kind of? Let's go to the Learn tab and see what we can learn. There is Enchantress. There's that.
Well, you have to remember, people aren't actually learning with you because of your overlay.
That is true. So I'll swap it when we're going on Learn tab. There's an Ancient Apparition. There's something there. support Sven.
Crystal Maiden, man. Crystal Maiden. I would love to see a support Crystal Maiden. That hero
Lich, Witch Doctor? I mean, oh, dude, Witch Doctor is a thing. A Witch Doctor Chronosphere used to be a big thing, in fact. But we'll see where we're going to go from here.
Lich used to be like the most imba hero in Dota.
It is?
First pick, first ban material.
It was like a year and a half ago.
Yeah, unfortunately, times have changed.
Times have changed. The hero haven't really changed. I think it had a 5-second nerf on that sacrifice ability, but for the most part, still a very, very powerful hero. Defensively against Trilings, although, you know, not that good, especially when they're tower diving you when you're level 1.
I think it's actually somewhat forgotten. I think you could easily put it up against an anti-mage type draft.
Sure. Frost Armor is definitely a thing in the late game situation, even against the anti-mage, but they're going to go with a try and true Disruptor, which we have seen in the late game situation to be still remaining too powerful, especially with the ultimate shutting down, having a big AoE shutting down Darkseer, who kind of have to just charge in, right, and then just drop his spells. If you could disrupt him, pun intended, with the ultimate, then you could kind of stop the whole combo.
Yeah, and it does fit really well. It'll be interesting to see what they get with that last support pick. Disruptor was kind of the most, I guess, top-tier support left in the pool, but their last pick is going to be very limited. Maybe just going for a Venomancer or a Vengeful Spirit. They've got enough lockdown just with the Mag and the Faceless Void Chronosphere that they don't really need to have some additional lockdown from the support, so they can go for something like a Venomancer if they really want to. But for now, it's Chain Stack. They've got the Darkseer, they've got their offlaner. They need a solo mid. I
feel like they need something else, more of a good lockdown spell and more spammable lockdown against anti-mage, because I mean, Chronosphere as well as the RP are good lockdowns, but not exactly, you can't dump it every time you want to set up a gank. So Disruptor is going to be helpful very much so against Anti-Mage because of the long cast range of the Glimpse. But seems like they have to deal with the Gyrocopter, and this trialing of SD, Lesh, Gyro, or Happy Unicorn as some would call the Leshrac, kind of very, very dangerous.
Yeah, this is a lot of firepower coming up from the chain side. This is something they really love to do. We've seen in their past games where they pick up the anti-mage, but their other 4 heroes are heroes that can take maybe even a 4v5 fight. You've got such great damage coming out of the Shadow Demon Leshrac combo. Gyrocopter, Rocket Barrage early, Iron Shell. This is a really good early to mid game lineup, and then they chuck the anti-mage there. It's a nice little blend, and they're one of the few teams who do something like this. Miracle's team, First Departure, do it every now and then, but we didn't see them playing any anti-mage when they versed Zenith. They were opting for other carries. So right now, it's just a chain stack, sticking with the anti-mage pick and going super aggressive with their other 4 heroes.
Meanwhile, here we're going to pick up a very survivable support, if indeed that is a support, in the form of Windrunner. Let's quickly introduce the play here. We're going to have Super playing the Disruptor. We have Air on the Queen of Pain. Very, very cool Zippy Frog Lizard. We have Mofi on the Magnus. Seems like he's going to be going on the long lane, expecting a solo, and it's going to be a good expectation because it's going to be offensive trialing most likely for the Radiant. Shao 2G is going to be on Faceless Void and XDD on that Windrunner.
Well, the Radiant side, we have got the Chain Stack, one of the most try-hard Southeast Asian server pub stacks. It is Chains playing the Anti-Mage. He's going down the bottom lane. Got Legendary playing the Leshrac. Minerva playing the Shadow Demon. Risk playing the Gyrocopter, actually, and it's going to be Darkseer played by Johnny. Johnny, generally their solo mid player, so I have to look to see if this is going to be Risk in it. It looks like offensive trialing, like you say, and not with the Darkseer. Darkseer going to be the solo mid, I think.
Yeah, Darkseer so far hasn't picked up a single thing yet, although... No,
you know what he's doing? He's trying to poke his head out so he gets scouted by an Observer Ward, because it's quite likely they put a lane ward, and he's like, let's pretend I'm top. But there's no Observer Ward in lane yet, but I think he was trying to fake him out.
And he's dropped all his items to not show that he's going for that quick bottle rush build. Nice, a little bit of a mind trick, although not paying off there because there was no Observer Ward being dropped, which, you know, they're fine with. Seems like this ward has been really a big popular ward nowadays, with the ability to really scout out that gank. You could place it on the Radiant and on the Dire. I think Radiant a little bit more helpful because you do it very, very safely. And of course, now they will see Shao 2G's items and whatnot, seeing that he is indeed pull. Although they're going to run, getting the rune though. So that's going to really automatically deny a lot of the Rocket Barrage damage. Disruption being used offensively on Super. They do have Glimpse, and I think 600 range. 600 range, can he get off? Oh man, it's so close. If they glimpsed him back there, he was dead.
That was actually very close, and if they managed to get the Illusion Room before Void did there, it kind of works out, but unfortunately Void in the front lines grabbed the Illusion Room, and suddenly it's like, well, Gyrocopter can't do a whole lot, but it's an alright trade. That could have gone a lot worse for the Chain Stack. They've now managed to find their footing here, and this trialing, they've got the much stronger trialing with the Shadow Demon Leshrac. Unfortunately, they're going to have to deal with these Void Illusions, which do a bit of damage at top lane. Looking at other lanes, mid lane, we've got the Darkseer 1v1 against the Queen of Pain. Bottom lane, you've got your Anti-Mage versus Mag, so It is. It's good that we get to see this trailing versus trailing. We're not going to be seeing both teams just trading free farm for free farm on the carries.
Yeah, there's always a very interesting decision when the enemy team does not, well, at least block off the first camp, and you make that pull. That pull is very dangerous because suddenly you lose that creep wave, and it's go time here on the top lane. Chain stack, damage output on Xiao Tuji. He's going to jump, and well, he's going to be forced to burn a salve, but that a bit of mana out of every hero, well worth that salve, because now Void not exactly most comfortable in that top lane.
I think it's a good trade for Chainstack. Their heroes, well, I guess Disruption's the biggest mana loss, but Leshrek's got plenty of mana to use it. 4 Split Earths in lane. Rocket Barrage isn't a lot of mana, but for Void, he's only got mana for just having 2 Time Walks. He hasn't even got his second Time Walk yet. So I think for Chainstack, that's a good trade.
Definitely a good trade, and of course, regen is definitely very, very expensive and very limited on this top lane. The Creep Equilibrium pushed out a little bit, and he really can't go in. If he's ever within the Disruption range, he's actually going to take a lot of damage and probably going to die.
Have you... Okay, never mind.
No,
you messed up the overlay.
Don't worry. Don't worry.
I tapped out, I see Chap, I'm like, oh my gosh, Luminous, what have you done?
Don't worry. Like...
You're acting all casual as if nothing's happened.
Nothing has actually happened. Like, apparently I'm slow by like 3 seconds, and like the whole world falls apart.
Okay.
Guys, let's not be the Mayans here, okay? Just wait a little bit.
You're not quite at LD level yet. This is like instant. Well, a couple of disconnects coming out. That Chinese internet. But yeah, I guess, I mean, we'll see how this top lane progresses from here on out. Void will have a bit of a tough time farming. And the big lane is going to be bottom. You've got your Anti-Mage versus Mag. Anti-Mage, so far, with the last hit advantage. And I imagine we'll see him getting multiple points in mana break. So far, he's gone for the 1-1-1. Maybe he goes stats from here on out. But I think having 2-3 points in mana break against a hero like Mag can really pay off. Although right now, Mag's already out of mana. So there's not much point getting it now. But if he gets a bottle, then definitely worthwhile.
Do you really think so, though? Because I feel like he could easily save up for like 20 mana and then bottle up for that last 75 and Shockwave. And
I guess, yeah.
Maybe he just goes stats here. I'm not sure. I mean, both build definitely has his own like merits. I think it feels like it depends on how this game's gonna go and depends on what item build he's gonna go. If he's gonna go for something like Vanguard Vlad's and take the fight into the enemy's face, having the extra stats is definitely very helpful, especially if you're gonna be in their face. And level 1 mana break against support is just as good as like level 3 or 4 mana break. It does a ton of damage already.
Yeah, very true, very true. You can see defeat Lumi.
It's okay. No problem. It's not a competition. It's a teamwork.
I agree. Well, mid lane, Darkseid vs Queen of Pain. Queen of Pain 9 denies. That is some big plays up against the Darkseid Iron Shell. Because it's hard to time those last hits. Normally you just chuck the Iron Shell and hope you get them. But Queen of Pain has 9 denies it, less than 2 minutes in.
Yeah, Queen of Pain, one of the few mids that have decent damage and more importantly, a great animation. That's why she's often hailed as one of the better solo mids, especially when you have spells like Shadow Strike, although not really being used at this point. I want to see Johnny actually push the creep wave like he's been doing so, and then look towards stacking the neutral or just clearing up that neutrals whenever he can. It's actually a big increase in terms of gold, but more importantly, a big increase in terms of experience. If you get level 5 when Queen of Pain is like 4.5, and you double Iron Shell that wave, like she's not farming anything at that point.
Yeah, that's where it also gets really hard to deny, and you have to sort of conflict yourself between denying, getting a last hit, farming on your own tower, and once the lane's pushing out that fast, it really puts Queen of Pain under quite a bit of pressure. But hopefully, guys, for you tuning in, this is the G1 League Phase 2 still, but this is where, well, teams are always being knocked out here, but this is where we're seeing teams who will advance to Phase 3. Earlier today, we had Rattlesnake take down MUFC 2-0. And the winner of this match will join Rattlesnake in the Phase 3 of this tournament, the G1 League, which is the biggest prize pool after the International, $63,000 US roughly. I can't remember what it was in Chinese currency, but it's roughly $63,000 US, although I guess that fluctuates from day to day.
That is a lot of chicken nuggets. I think of currency in terms of like my dollar menu for the McDonald's.
I could get quite a few vanilla milkshakes at Denny's with that.
In any case here, the other 4 team that's waiting here on phase number 3 is LGD, China, DK, Orange, and IG, I believe. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's right.
And I'm not exactly sure whether the Chain Stack or the Rising Star would, do well against these particular team, but we've definitely seen a couple of upsets, if you will. LG in having a very, very tough game. Yet, I think a couple of days ago, they did, of course, eventually win. But I feel like these some of the lesser-known teams could definitely give the top teams a run for their money.
Yeah, you're looking at one right now. Chainstack took down 4Love the other day, so
Yeah.
they've already proven themselves capable of the ups. And that was 4Love with King J and their new lineup. So even with King J and Zippo joining them, Chainstack, they caused the upset.
King J was farming brilliantly, although was not able to carry his team a little bit too heavy. A little bit of Chuan syndrome going on there. Meanwhile, Rising Star on the top lane, having a little bit more difficulty. They do have to pull a little stacked off, and Disruptor, if he wants to pull, he has to go for that level 1 cam, which he's going to be very far to protect his own dual lane up top. Meanwhile, if he wants to gank mid, well, there's nobody to gank, as a Surge is going to be used to pick up a rune on the bot lane.
Well, and Disruptor already rotating. I guess you can be using a Glimpse to bring back the Darkseer after you use the Surge here, but I feel right now for Rising Stars, the thing is with their supports, both Windrunner and Disruptor, they're not supports who, when they get level 3, level 4, they're getting a ton stronger. They don't really offer a lot of burst damage. For Shadow Demon, Leshrac, and Jaro, when they hit level 3, they can kill a lot faster than they can at level 1.
Yeah, and if there's nobody in the lane, they will push down your tower very easily with the access of Diabolic, which they have a point right now. On the top lane, Rocket Barrage will go into Xiao Tuji, which he does not care too much about. You can see that his build is entirely defensively, even putting an extra point to Time Walk, just to make sure that the cast range is increased. And the thing is, he actually can't go in the lane. I mean, he's going to probably get a CS or two randomly here and there, but it's going to take a lot of pot shot harass.
And the CS at bottom lane is something worth looking at too. Anti-Mage up to 19, maxing on 6. This is that 1v1 matchup which Anti-Mage, well, he has the ability to just completely dominate. So lanes are going really well. Top lane, they don't even have to kill Void. It's just about shutting down his farm. And there's no real ability to gank the Anti-Mage because the two supports have to keep protecting the Void. They can't really abandon him at top lane.
Yeah, I mean, again, Windrunner, one of the more decent support to have access into one of the longer stuns in the game. And of course, Disruptor with Silence and the Glimpse ability can kill Anti-Mage if they get the levels to it, but they just have to sit on the top lane, at least for the near foreseeable future. Of course, the Radiant team could easily smoke off and get a gank off if that's what they want to do. Because, well, Gyrocopter should be fine by himself, especially against Void.
I'm surprised Gyrocopter actually went for the point in homing missile. Most Gyrocopter we've been seeing just completely
flat
ignore
cannon.
their skill.
Yeah.
I think flat cannon's the better way to go, but it's a small deviation, and not something which I imagine is going to cost them a kill. If they're getting a kill, it's with the Disruption, Leshrac, Sun, and Rocket Barrage. So
yeah.
it's just a waste of mana. Generally, a homing missile is never going to get you a kill. It's never going to set anything up. It's just not a very strong skill.
The Gyrocopter rocket homing missile, excuse me. It's an okay spell if you channel it in the tree areas like here and there, but it's just so obvious, it feels like. And if you see the Gyrocopter missing a couple of seconds when you know that he has a rocket, well, you know what's going to be coming up next.
Well, right now, no action just yet, despite seeing this Trial vs. Trial. And as far as the two solo goes, I mean, I mentioned Anti-Mage's farm, but mid lane, Queen of Pain with almost a full level advantage has just hit level 6. Yeah, level 6 against a level 4. There's a first blood at top lane. They have actually managed to go in now, and they find Windrunner. Disruptor getting down low as well, but, well, Chainstack, they strike first.
Yeah, I did not see that one happening, but you imagine this.
I was like watching this mid lane, seeing Queen of Pain 2 levels ahead of Darkseer.
And those,
now it's level 5.
And those 2 levels ahead of Darkseer is really coming from the 23 denies.
Darkseer dead.
Whoa, he's on the run here. Blink in, and no mana for the... Oh my god, Aerith's taking a ton of damage. He's going to go down to 46 HP. Salves up, and he should be fine. Oh, the creep's not canceling that salve either.
Well, that was interesting. He could have just gone for a right click. He didn't have mind for the scream. I think he was looking for a right click, but actually got...
A little bit semi-fogged, I guess.
Semi-fogged and just couldn't quite get the click in. But things going really well for Chainstack with that survive there. They get the first blood at top. Darkseer survives at mid. He TP's back in right away, and he's going to be catching up on levels and then looking pretty good to go.
Yeah, I'm actually very surprised that the Shadow Demon has went for 2 levels of poison instead of that Sanders Soul Catcher at 2 and 3. It definitely actually makes you lose a ton of damage, especially when you have so much nukes on top of that. But I guess they're just looking for long-range chasing power. They are expecting the team fight to kind of go back and forth, and when people running away, the poison is not that bad. I mean, it's a long range, it clips people as well as providing sight, so it's decent. It's decent, but it's no Soul Catcher though.
I think if you go, the fact he's got 2 points already, it means he's going to be maxing it by level 7 most likely. And I think Trial vs. Trial, if you can get a fast level 5, having that fast level 3 poison does a ton of damage, and in some ways is stronger than having the Soul Catcher. But level 2, level 3, the Soul Catcher obviously very, very cost efficient for that 20%. And, well, despite not having Soul Catcher, he's going to go looking for a gank here. He's smoked up with the Leshrac, and it looks like he's heading mid.
Well, getting a gank off against Queen of Pain is going to be somewhat difficult, but Queen of Pain with the ultimate down, as well as only a level 1 blink, they should be able to grab him. Queen of Pain Looking for a rune, and it's going to be Disruption opening. Splurf is going to hit very, very easily, and they really want Soul Catcher to get that kill, but Poison, 2 stacks of Poison to be exact, was able to pick that one fairly easy.
Yeah, he gets the point in Soul Catcher now, and well, with that, Chain Stack find themselves a kill and made a kill on top, and Anti-Mage at bottom. He hasn't got a kill, but he may as well have with the farm he's getting. He's up to 40 creep kills already.
Top lane, Risk was able to get taken down. Glimpse showing a little bit of effects here on the top lane. 600 cast ring is fairly impressive just on a level 1 spell. Glimpse and back, telekinesis, or not telekinesis, the field and the power shot too. Able to take that one for free.
TP bottom now. There's first rotation coming out. It can't be from the supports. It is going to be the Queen of Pain, the one here who can look to gank in. The question is, can they actually bring down Anti-Mage? Mag has plenty of mana. He's got the RP. Anti-Mage is going to go for a bit of a rest. Instant RP. Anti-Mage, dead. Smart little rotation there.
I love that gank. I mean, as soon as Mofi hit level 6, Queen of Pain just immediately poured in. Good thing that she also had it on cooldown, and then two big ultimate down at this early stages game for an anti-mage solo kill. I think it's completely worth it, especially when your supports can't make that gank, or can't make that gank reliably. They really need to slow down anti-mage's farm. He's gonna get his farm regardless, but getting those kills one or two random times is not that bad.
And when he's snowballing this badly, he's leading the CS by a long shot. It's definitely worth using those 2 ultimates. So we'll see how Chains look to react to this. It looks like, I mean, imagine Anti-Mage goes back bottom. He's guaranteed some safe, unprotected farm while those ultis are on cooldown. It's top lane though. Chain Stack have got 4 heroes up here. There was a surge in. They don't find the initiation they were after, but they are just going to look to clear out this creep wave, go for some creep skipping here, and maybe start pressuring this tier 1 top, especially Queen of Pain, Mag, ulti on cooldown. They know it's pretty safe to do this. Even with Void Corona, Void pops Corona, where's the follow-up down?
There is none.
Level 2 power shot. Nothing. Level 1 Thunderstrike, there's no actual damage coming out without Queen of Pain there with an ulti.
Yeah, if you really want to count, Time Lock is only a level 1 either, so even if he gets really lucky, the damage output is not going to be there. But it's probably going to be used as an escape spell. Maybe if it's going to be a Chrono under the tower could do a lot of work. But again, that's Chain Stack diving a little bit perhaps too deeply. Of course, right now, passive farming on both, or all of the lanes, in fact. And I think that ultimately favors the Rising Star for now, I feel like, because they're getting a little bit of time to cool down their ultimates. And once those ultimates are coming off cooldown, they could start looking for some aggression again.
Yeah, I think it favors them for now. Whenever their ulti's on cooldown, that's what they want to be doing. But as soon as those ultis are up, they need to start getting more active, because that's where... Long term, if they're playing a farming game, they lose, because you're up against an anti-mage. Gyrocopter does pretty well as well. Darkseid controls the team fights, and I feel they need to be making sure they fight and get at least even just solo kills. If they're just getting solo kills every time their ultis are up, great, they're going to be coming out on top. But they do need to make sure they are somewhat active and aggressive as well at the same time.
Meanwhile, top lane here, Disruption, Splurf on top here on Xiao Tuji, but I mean, he's going to just jump away. There's just not enough damage output. Soul Catcher on top would have done a tiny bit more, but really, again, Xiao Tuji will survive that, especially with that 10 charges on the Magic Wand. Notice he's going to be basically holding on that one for his dear life. At some point, it's going to be a big kind of turnaround when he pops, you know, the 150 HP healing.
Yeah, I imagine Chain Stack have a pretty good idea. We should know without a doubt that it's there, but for the most part, it just makes it a lot harder to actually go in reliably, unless they can get that chain stun and kill him before he actually even gets to pop it off. But it's not going to be easy to do that. There's a rotation back towards the top lane. The support's there once again. Darkseid still mid-in. He's going to go for that mech here, and I think that's really going to be the big item for Chain Stack, where those 4 heroes can group up and take team fights, apply a lot of pressure, while Anti-Mage is off farming. And something that Chain Stack actually do is they bring the Anti-Mage to fights, even just level 8. He's gone for it's not the 1-1-1 build, he's gone for the 2-2-2. Is
there a big distinction between either one? I mean, it just kind of, it feels like a little bit more of a personal preference at times even.
Yeah. No stat filter, boy. He's got 1 in stats.
Ooh, mid lane here. They're forcing the Darkseid to actually walk away. They glimpse him back, but Surge so quickly down to high ground here. That's actually, Tranquil Boot gets canceled. Vacuum, that's not going to save him. A couple more right click, it's going to do the job. Surge trying to be casted, not going to be enough. So, again, I mean, Disruptor, one of those kind of forgotten supports. Very, very powerful in ganking mobile heroes like the Darkseid, like the Anti-Mage.
Yeah, Disruptor, you can see how this hero is really strong and somewhat of a forgotten support hero. Everyone's been going for the Rubik and Shadow Demon, but Disruptor, despite not being a top tier pick, can really offer a lot and offers that sort of utility, much like a Shadow Demon and Rubik do, but just not in a way that it's considered a top tier pick just at the moment.
Chain Stack support's a little bit smoked up. They do see Super trying to rise for that level 6, and if he's going to go for that last set on the creep wave, he's going to pay for it. Yes, Disruption to open up. There's no Soul Catcher just yet. Spliff on top, and look at the Soul Catcher. Just a level 1 Soul Catcher, providing a ton of damage. Easy kill.
Well, he got his level 6. The group died just before he went down, but unfortunately it did come at the cost of his own life as well as Chainsack finding himself another kill. And for now, Chainsack can be pretty happy with that little pick off. The supports rotate bottom. I think they're anticipating a potential another gank coming on Anti-Mage. With Mag and Queen of Pain ultimates both back online, they know that he could be in some danger, especially after what happened last time when those two ultis were up.
Yeah, they do have Observer to see Queen of Pain kind of meandering up and down the river, so this could be a very, very good counter gank. Worst comes to worst, if your Anti-Mage gets RP, you disrupt him, so you basically bait out an RP for basically nothing. But for now, Anti-Mage chains, you know, he knows he's safe, so he's going to stay very far up, get some CS while he can, and basically says, alright, Magnus, I know you have the RP, come drop it on me.
Yeah, Mag is sitting in the river there. He's been scouted out. Ward down near the lane. Sees the Mag, also sees out into the lane. So if there is a gank coming from the Queen of Pain in lane, it does get spotted unless there's a smoke, and that is exactly what we're seeing. Not to mention smoke, there's a static storm from the Disruptor preventing a potential Anti-Mage blink out, but here comes the rotation. They are going to be revealed. Where's that static storm? You need to hit multiple heroes. Only going to catch the Leshrac, and it looks like they leave him to die. Run, Disruptor, run. Darkseid's here.
Here comes the Darkseid. There's a little bit of glimpse back here. Nice vacuum. That's on 3. Shackle shot. That is going to latch. Anti-Mage blinks in. RP's going to be 2. Oh, no. He wanted the Manavoid. Still going to get it off. Some decent AoE damage being bounced on XDD. I really don't think the Dire team should have engaged that. Everybody was so low in terms of HP. And I think they said, you know what? We have RP. We can fight this. They really cannot. Queen of Pain, I mean, she was there to kind of do the follow-up damage, but I felt like they need to get those clean kills. I don't think they should look for heads-up engagements, especially when the ultimate from Disruptor only caught a support Leshrac.
It still turned out okay, but it looked like it could have gone a lot worse. Queen of Pain almost died to the Gyrocopter TP, and the entire Chainsack team rotated bottom for that fight. And if Gyrocopter picks up that Queen of Pain, it's a big, big win for Chainsack. Unfortunately, it's just it actually got a 1-for-2 trade. They lost both their supports for a Mag kill, which I'd say is fairly even at this point, especially considering Anti-Mage got the kill, so he gets the gold for it. So I think at the end of the day, it is a very even trade, but it could have gone a lot worse for the Rising Stars.
Yeah, Anti-Mage 2k gold in the bank, fairly close into completing his Battle Fury, in which case he will start basically freeing up a couple of lanes. Well, I mean, he's going to be able to farm the jungle, but most likely starting to, take up a couple more lanes as well. Magnus still being left on the bot lane to basically trade farm against Anti-Mage. Anti-Mage getting Battle Fury dangerous, but so is Magnus getting Blink. So, again, both teams deciding that it's okay to trade farm. Who do you favor here in terms of how this game's going so far? Magnus getting the Blink, or Battle Fury being finished on the AM?
I think Battle Fury on the AM has the potential to break the game wide open if he just flash farms the jungle, goes all out split pushing, and plays it really smart, not getting caught out, and just he can control the game more than a Mag can. And he's not a teamfight hero just by his sheer split pushing power. If he gets that 16-minute Battle Fury, I think he can have a slight edge, but I think the big thing for Rising Stars is they've got a much more versatile lineup with their supports. You've got a Windrunner, Shackle Shot being a great disable, Disruptor ultimate. It's the supports who can really offer a lot on the Dire side.
Yeah, normally I would disagree with you. I think that Magnus with Blink really allows you to start pushing towers, taking those team fights maybe even like more aggressively than you can, because Blink Skewer is basically like a free kill. Like it's a one-way swap on a Vengeful Spirit. That's how usually I think about it. I would completely agree with you with Anti-Mage being a big problem, especially because Air does not have Scythe of Ice. He doesn't even have that Oblivion Staff going for an Orchid. So when he starts to split push, there's very little things they could do to actually stop it. Glimpse is something, Shackle Shot is something, but none of it is actually quite reliable. So, not reliable as a Blink Orchid, for example, from the Queen of Pain. So yeah, and once Anti-Mage finishes his Battle Fury, it's going to be very, very tough for the Rising Star to ironically compete on the Rising level.
Yeah, do you think Queen of Pain goes for something like an Orchid just to help gank the Anti-Mage? Because, I mean, definitely after the B Fury, you go for the Manta Style, but if you can get the Orchid well before the Manta Style, is it worthwhile?
I think so. It's going to be so slow that I'm not sure whether she's going to have that big opening, that timing opening, because you know that once Battle Fury is up, that Manta Style is going to come in like, 6-7 minutes. And I'm not sure how many successful ganks she's going to get off throughout that time. She's also quite under level, I want to say. Her Sonic Wave is going to be good, but Anti-Mage going for a little bit stat heavy build. He's going to be able to survive against those ganks as well. I almost want to say that maybe she's going to should go for the Axe Scepter, because her team is predominantly AoE based, or maybe she's going to say, you know what, let's go for the late game sacrifice.
Yeah, I think actually Scythe of Ice is not going to be all that bad here against both Anti-Mage and the Gyrocopter. Even Darkseid, you want to burst him down, make sure he doesn't get off a vacuum wall. Being having a Scythe of Ice can really help you out, and it puts less pressure on the Mag to find those big 4 or 5 man RPs. You can save the Scythe of Ice for someone who maybe doesn't get caught out, but Queen of Pain up to 1400 gold. So if we will be seeing an Orchid, I imagine we see the first Oblivion Star picked up soon. If we're looking outside the Vice, well, then you're looking to wait till he has 2.1k, pick up the Ultimate Orb.
Yeah, but it just really feels late. I mean, normally most Queen of Pain has at least, if not double Oblivion Staff, at least one, and working like halfway towards the second one. So it's not like she played bad or anything. She's actually, you know, outlaned the Darkseer, which is definitely not something that most Queen of Pain players could do, but it just doesn't feel like it's enough right now against the Chain Stacks.
Yeah, and Chain Stack are pressuring this bottom lane. They've got 5 heroes here now. Looks like they should be able to get this T1 tower. Static Storm is there for the Disruptor. Glyph is going to be popped. They're looking to defend this. Shackle not going to land in.
Ooh, it is going to land off the creep here against Johnny. Huge. Oh, Disruption being used defensively. RP being dropped there as well. But Mofi in bigger trouble as Bonely did not die throughout all of that. Disruption was huge. And Chains in the middle of team fight. Monavoid is going to pick off one. They get the tower there as well. A huge win. That was multiple ultimates. 4 ultimates, 3 ultimates being used. And not only did they not win the fight, they even defended tier 1. Void being left to farm on the top lane, but he's not even getting at his battle fear yet. I think this game just got really hard for the Rising Stars.
This is where Anti-Mage can really start to pull away. He's got his Battle Fury. He hasn't gone for the Quelling Blade, but with or without it, he farms pretty damn fast in this jungle. And it's not just the lone carry in the Anti-Mage. You've got Gyrocopter, who adds quite a lot of damage. He's going to be looking at probably just a straight Manta style with this Yasha pickup. And Faceless Void, you mentioned, no Battle Fury yet. And that's a really, really hurtful thing for this dire side. They're not going to have a Battle Fury until about 20, 21 minutes in.
Yeah, normally the Void farms this Battle Fury a little bit slower than the Anti-Mage, you know, normal timing comparison-wise. But once Anti-Mage finishes his Battle Fury, his farm just leaps. Whereas Battle Fury on Faceless Void, it's good, but it's nowhere compared, like, because Time Walk is not as spammable as Blink. Basically, that's really what it comes down to. So you can see that he's going to be going for Vlad's, I believe, on Anti-Mage. Extra armor, going to be nice against the Chronosphere as well as the right-click damage. But for the most part, I think he should really focus on HPing up. To be honest, I still think that Manta Style should be the item that he should be rushing for.
Yeah, I think even if you want to go for the Vlad, you can get it after the Manta Style if your team is really dead set on applying a lot of pressure, or you feel you need the auras, the armor, as well as the damage and lifesteal. I think you can always get that Manta Style first. The Manta Style just offers so much. Against Queen of Pain, you get the illusions out, you can burst down all that mana and actually get those solo, well, not maybe solo kills, but you can find Queen of Pain, isolate her and kill her in these fights. It really helps add a lot of damage. It's the same thing with the PL, the same reason you want to get that fast level 2 Diffusal Blade, because that mana burn, it works and does a ton of extra damage on your illusions. It's how the Manta Style with Anti-Mage is really, really powerful. Rising
Stars looking to do a little bit of pressure mid, but I don't... Oh, Vacuum on top, call down, my god! 3 for nothing, gosh. 2 for nothing out of there. Air is going to try to blink away, but not against that Rocket Barrage. That's going to be dead. The thing I was trying to point out before that fight really broke out is that Rising Star is getting very, very desperate. Normally, you don't see that push going on, especially without the Blink Dagger on the Magnus. They really need Blink to start forcing fights. They are just getting desperate because Anti-Mage has this battle for Void, barely finished his, and they lost a big team fight on the bot lane there as well. So they're looking to get something in return, and so far haven't got anything, and they got punished badly on the mid lane. Yeah, Void gets his battle free during that time. He also avoids a gank, but at the end of the day, it's not really much of a gank for this Rising Stars team. That battle free has been a long time coming, and Anti-Mage, he's got his Vlads just in 50 gold now, so we're going to see Vlads as well as B-Fury treads on Anti-Mage. He's well ahead of the Faceless Void. He's up almost 2k gold ahead in terms of net worth, which is quite significant for 20 minutes into the game, and with that Chain Stack, they just keep on looking to apply pressure all over the place. They've got the team fight from the Darkseer, who's also got the mech. Probably starts building towards a pipe, or maybe even just straight side the Vice. And then when Gyrocopter gets a Manta Style, we're just going Yasha BKB, it looks like. He picks up an Ogre Club. Well, and he sells an Ogre Club, so maybe... Big Swice. Will be... Manta's, you know, again, very, very good, especially when you're trying to debuff a lot of these kind of single target thing. Oh, Windrunner trying to get that tower kill. And I'm not sure if it's going to get off Vacuum. No, deny. It looks like they're going to force the Darkseer back, but I don't think XCD is going to survive. Magic Wand up. He's running away from Rocket, which allows him to do a little bit extra damage. Another right click. Windrunner being used, and Surge. Vacuum. That's going to be it. Not Surge, just good old Haste Rune. Air will blink back out. I mean, Void actually, in the last several team fights, I want to say, being left alone. Able to get up a lot of free CS, 1k go in the bank. Not exactly Anti-Mage level of farm, but catching up. And of course, in the ultra late game, Faceless Void will definitely outbeat an Anti-Mage. In a head-to-head fight, yes. As far as split pushing goes, no. I think Anti-Mage is a much more strategic carry, whereas Faceless Void, all he offers is
the team fight carry. Anti-Mage, you can team fight, you can split push, you can do so much more than the Faceless Void can. He's much more versatile as a carry, which I think makes him I'd much rather watch games with Anti-Mage than Faceless Void, because Faceless Void, all he does is one thing. Anti-Mage, he's a much more strategic hero overall.
Although I have to say that Void plays with team and Anti-Mage does not, so...
Well, Anti-Mage, I guess he can. I guess is that you don't get that quite same synergy and the wombo combo with the Chronosphere, but Anti-Mage, he definitely can come to the fights. We haven't seen too much of it yet. Maybe it's been more the fights coming to him, especially in that bottom lane. We may be looking at another one here soon.
Both teams smoked up, trying to bait out each other. Shadow Demon perhaps will be left alone. He's going to try to TP out. Void jumps in, looking for the Chrono. Good reaction here by Minerva, realizing that he was going to be the one that get target. Good thing though, you can notice that he teleported right back to the tier 1 tower. A lot of players would have just double-clicked the TP and go all the way back to base. So he's ready to defend this tower. With both teams smoked down, I think this is going to be a little bit more difficult for Rising Star to sustain that push. They back off, and I mean, it's not good to kind of trade more farm against an Anti-Mage who's already very, very ahead, but you don't have an option. You can't really try to force an issue, especially when you've been losing all of these team fights so far.
And as far as other items, it is going to be the Scythe of Ice coming out of the Queen of Pain. I think when you see this Scythe of Ice build, Anti-Mage is going to be pretty happy with the Vlad's build, because by the time he's got the Vlads now, by the time he has a Manta Cell, that's around when Scythe of Ice will be up. He doesn't really need the Manta as much until the Scythe of Ice is there, and he'll get it around a similar time. And look how aggressive he's being. He blinks right in bottom lane, super down to half HP from just 2 auto attacks. And that Mana Break is just doing some serious work here. Tier 2 tower goes down with ease. Change just being that tanky frontline brawler.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you can only do this if you go like early Battle Fury into early Vlads. It gives you the tanking power of the +5 armor, definitely, of course, very important, but just being able to heal off every creep hit is going to be very good at sustaining the frontal damage as well. Let's not forget about the fact that Anti-Mage will be blinking around a lot, and that 0.8 extra, mana regen, still very, very welcome.
Yeah, nice little pick up here. He's now top lane, looking to pressure the tier 1, but lots of TPs in. Disruptor's there, Faceless Void is there, and now we're going to see Mag coming in as well. Mag we haven't seen much of. We talked about how he can be somewhat of an impact, and we both agreed Anti-Mage is going to have the higher impact than a Mag, which is not something you'd normally expect, but it's exactly what we're seeing. This Mag has been involved in 2 kills. And he's at this blink there, I'd say, for at least about 5 minutes now.
Yeah, I mean, he just really can't look for those solo kills like a solo mid-Magnus would, because the level disadvantage, I think he got really out-farmed on the bot lane. And normally, when you play solo mid-Mag, sometimes just TP in, get an RP, and suddenly a double kill for Magnus, and he just shoots ahead in levels. As a long lane, or as a bot lane Magnus, he really have to stay in the same lane and keep Anti-Mage in check, or at least try to. And he hasn't had any opportunity to look for those kind of 2-man, 3-man RPs on the other lanes.
Yeah, and as a result, we're not really seeing a high-impact Mag, and the Queen of Pain hasn't really made up for that either. That's your solo mid-hero. Either the ganks need to be coming to mid-lane, so Queen of Pain can pick up mills there, or Queen of Pain starts roaming. Queen of Pain only been involved in 4 of these kills, and it's looking like a tough position for Rising Stars to be in. They've gone for the Mask of Madness on Faceless Void, and this to me seems like a, hey, we need some damage and we need it now kind of item.
Ooh, the rocket will hit on Xiao Tuji. He's not going to run though. He's going to farm up this camp. They need to defend the tier 1 up on top. But looks like, it seems like there's a little bit of indecision here on the chain stack. They're smoking up, walking back, well.
Ooh. Anti-Mage, he's found Disruptor. Not going to make a go for it though. He blinks out of that. I think he was expecting maybe some backup, and when there's a potential Mag backup, it's worth not going for that kill, because a Blink RP could just seal your fate, and then combine it with a Static Storm.
Alright, Chainsack finally decided. Alright, we are going to push down tier 1 up top. Anti-Mage is joining the fray. Again, something that we don't see too often. We were just kind of talking about how Anti-Mage plays without his team, but in this particular game, this particular build, he's definitely with this team 24/7. Xiao Tuji gonna get a rocket to his face. That tier 1's gonna go down. The question is how much they're gonna keep chasing for. Rocket on Xiao Tuji. He's gonna back off. Meanwhile, Anti-Mage just chasing away Super. Super's gonna go down to the mobility that Yasha provides in conjunction with Treads. Wow, Super just with a simple boots getting chased down way too easily.
Yeah, easy little pickup, and tier 1 tower as well. And I imagine they even look to start pressuring the tier 2 as well if they really want to here. Manta Cell up on the Gyrocopter. They've got the mech ups, well, they've had the mech for ages on the Darks. He's got an ultimate orb now as well, so we're not seeing the pipe straight into Scythe of Ice. And, well, all these heroes on the Radiant side getting just basic tanky items up, but less track with a couple braces, and it looks like they're ready to start pushing now, even with Manta Cell not quite up on Anti-Mage.
Yeah, the way that you were talking about the Mask of Madness, as Voice picked it up a little bit earlier, the way I personally see Mask of Madness is like a mini Divine Rapier in a sense. It's a lot of damage output for a relatively low cost, very, very kind of a cost-effective item to purchase, but I mean, it's a big risk. It doesn't drop when you die, but you know, you die a lot quicker, especially anytime they focus you. So it's a risky item. It's an item that Faceless Void generally gets because he falls a little bit behind, especially when he just picks up the Battle Fury. But of course, Mask of Madness is also a very good farming item. You could kind of just pop it walking through the jungle, increase movement speed, or when you're clearing up a big stack of Ancients, which unfortunately really haven't been stacked just yet. God, or are we okay here?
Yep, I'm okay. For a second there, I thought something had died out. I actually just turned my mic off because I had to cough, and then I forgot to turn it back on. But all good. They haven't been doing much Ancient stacking, but I think alternatively they've been being very active and applying constant pressure. They just got 2 towers at top lane. There hasn't really been openings for Chainstack to sit back, stack some of their own Ancients, and get that farm up.
Yeah, I was mostly referring to I guess on both sides. Stacking Ancients is nice. The Dai really haven't had time to stack Ancients, and to be honest, I don't think they feel safe enough to stack the Ancients because you could kind of lose positioning in a small engagement. Anti-Mage comes in, and suddenly he's getting all those gold. So not stacking in this game could be just... I mean, I'm not sure if they're doing it on purpose or not, but not stacking is going to end up working fine here for the Rising Stars. But I mean, what does Rising Star look towards you? Are they basically going to say, you know what, we concede the mid game to you. You guys are by far the stronger heroes. Anti-Mage is going to by far have more farm. We're going to try to go ultra late. I mean, Queen of Pain working on a Scythe of Vice about 1500 go away. Faceless Void, I imagine he's going to be working towards a BKB, although I'm not exactly sure. He really needs gold. I feel like whatever item he gets is going to be good. He just needs some item, whether it's Manta, BKB, or Butterfly even.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And I think for Rising Stars, it gets easier from here on out because they've lost all their Tier 2 towers. So the good news is you've only got to defend Tier 3s, which is a lot easier to do. They may see Chainstack picking up Roshan, which will be hard to prevent them doing. Sure, you've got the Mag Void in a big team fight, but despite having 2 big ultimates there, they're not really 2 ultimates that synergize all that well because both being melee heroes. And I think the big synergy is going to be with the Empower on the Void. He gets a lot of free extra damage from Empower. So with Battle Fury, Mask of Madness, and Empower, right now he needs survivability, which I imagine, like you say, is going to come from a BKB.
Yeah, BKB is not going to be too effective against the kind of late game right click. There is a Purge from the Shadow Demon, which will go through the BKB, and obviously Flat Cannon says, you know, magical immunity or not, I will still hit you. But it just blocks a ton of damage. Every time when we see BKB, Caster likes to talk about what spells and will go through it and physical damage that will go through it. Just by having it active, you just nullify basically a lot of kind of random damage that flies out throughout team fight, like perhaps a Split Earth, a Lightning or two, and it just ultimately it's worth the money. It's worth the activation, especially when you survive that much longer, when you're life stealing, when you're chasing down supports and whatnot.
Well, unfortunately, we have ourselves another pause, but this does give us a chance just to let you guys know you are watching the G1 League. For those of you who are just tuning in, new to be on the summit or new to this tournament, there's actually a Dota TV pass for those of you interested to watch some of these games in Dota TV if you want to support the tournament. And most important thing for those of you guys, I'm sure a lot of you are either watching on, be it the Join Dota or Gosu Gamers match, or the streams on those websites, or via just the Twitch TV main page. If you want to support the tournament, and just sort of show them that the Western audience is interested, you can watch on the official G1 website, which is g1.2p.com/Dota2. It's on the overlay, I believe. You can check it out there. But that's good. That's sort of the official English coverage page. The stream is embedded on there, so you can watch on the official website. And the organizers like to see it. They like to see that there's a big English audience interested in the tournament. There's Al stream on there. AC is also streaming, as are the Russian. Starletter are here. I say they're here, but they haven't really been here all that often.
Yeah, I think they were rarely here for the first best of 3, but they're generally here for the second best of 3. Maybe a little bit of time issues on the Russian side.
Well, they're here for the LGD International fans, with G playing for the LG International side, I've got to say.
Well, fair. Don't resume, I go WC. It feels like that happens at least once a day on the G1 League broadcast.
It's one of those things where they wouldn't pause for that reason. Okay, a player maybe has done that but once or twice before, but they're only doing it because it's already paused. They're like, well, maybe this is 2 more minutes of pause, maybe it's another 5 minutes. So it's like, I may as well go to the toilet because it's already paused.
That toilet analysis. Gods, BTS. That's what we earn the big bucks for.
This I'm not even gonna reply. I'm done. I'm tired. It's been a long day.
It is pretty late here. It's currently what, 5 a.m. 5:13, 5:20.
I ate so much that it's like putting me to sleep too.
It's okay. I mean, These are, I mean, I think it's gonna go pretty late with Anti-Mage trading farm against Void. And it's only game 1 of a best of 3 series, so we could be here for at least the next 2 hours even.
Yeah, I feel this game could end in the next 10 minutes with Chainstack taking it, but if Rising Stars are going to put up a fight, then we look to see it go late game. But Chainstack have the potential with their lineup to end the game in 30-35 minutes.
Yeah, I feel like they could win the game now. If they get a good team fight, wipe the team, get a couple of tier 2 towers. They don't, win the game off that one team fight, but they just build such a big lead that it's going to be tough for Rising Star to come back. But if the game just doesn't happen, like nothing happens for the next 10-15 minutes, I think we're going to see Rising Star kind of slowly climb back up. The support heroes are very, very good late game. Windrun is a great support. You talked about the Empower on, of course, the Faceless Void, as well as Disruptor. His ultimate is still very impressive. And, of course, that Glimpse only going to get better and better as the game gets later and later, as people are trying to jump away, you glimpse them back, and, things like of that nature.
Yeah. And I think it's something, it's a good point. If there's no action the next 10-15 minutes, it definitely favors Rising Stars, but not to the point where they're ahead. I think they just basically bring it back to even. And in that sort of 40 to 50 minute mark, it's dead even, and it comes down to positioning and who gets the better team fight. It's that late game scenario where one mistake and you lose. And it applies to both teams. But right now, if Chains make a mistake here or there, they're looking all right. And they're the ones who can punish Rising Stars and basically take the game snowball out of control with one good team fight.
Yeah, we're talking about Queen of Pain's Scythe of Ice. I mean, if we just want to take a moment and compare the solo mid's contribution in this game, Darkseer has a mech on top of that ultimate orb that Queen of Pain has, and has exactly like around the same gold, 2,400 here for the Darkseer, and even Queen of Pain even have less gold. It just shows you what early towers can do, and early kills, early one team fights can do. I mean, Queen of Pain's trying to match in terms of farm, but I mean, she's just not getting the towers, she's not getting the kills. And
first item Scythe of Ice is it's a very slow build. It's not something you can get up super fast unless you're dominating the game, and then you can maybe looking at a 22, 23-minute Scythe of Ice if you go straight away. But in a game like this where you're not having the best time, you're not finding kills over the map, you're somewhat behind as far as farm goes, it's a pretty slow Scythe of Ice. And now, once it's up, things can start looking good for Rising Stars, but it's still going to take another probably 3 or 4 minutes before it even has it.
Alright, let's see what the Chainstack will be doing. Looks like defending the bot tower is mission number 1, and looks like they will easily defend that with a couple of teleportation scroll. Void beginning to farm the enemy jungle. A very good tactic if you want to just eke a little bit of extra farm here and there, but also gotta weigh in the risk of getting, initiated on being very, very far from home. I'm questioning whether either team is starting to kind of sneak Roshan. Anti-Mage with the Vlad could just kind of sneak a blink in and try to work on it by itself. Same thing with the Void, with the lifesteal being granted by the Mask of Madness.
Yeah, both potential heroes. Yeah, for Chainstack, I feel they either look to go into Roshan, they look to pick up a gem so they can get complete map control, or the other option is they go for a big smoke gank. Those are kind of their 3 things. They need to do at least one of those to make something happen here. Maybe look to even do a couple of those. I think getting a gem here is really going to be a big, useful tool for them to help prevent Rising Stars from farming. Because if they don't have vision, it's really hard for them to get farm on anyone apart from maybe the Void, who they've got to be backing up with 3 or 4 heroes whenever he does go farm.
Speaking of Void, up to 2,100. If he wants a Yasha, he will have it. But I think BKB is just a safer and more reliable choice here, even against especially against the eventual side here from the Darkseer. But for now, Darkseer, 3,200 gold. His farm is just insane at this point. Like, out farming the Queen of Pain, being a lot more effective, and late game crowd control, having the ability to scythe up the Void, especially hopefully before he BKBs, and then you basically win the team fight.
Yeah, and Scythe of Ice is up very, very soon on Johnny. He's up to 3.4k gold after this neutral stack here. It looks like he's going to... No, not quite. He needs another 100, 150 gold and he's going to have it. And he's got it faster than his Queen of Pain. Queen of Pain getting close as well, but it looks like the chain stack. They're not looking to get too aggressive right now, but I think the Scythe of Ice is what they're waiting for. Then they can try go for that group up and push. It seems they've got, apart from that, all their key items, their key levels. Anti-Mage with a Manta style. It's going to be a long time before he gets his next big item. Gyrocopter with Manta as well. And no, not really anywhere close to a BKB. So I'd be surprised if they don't look to either Roche or at least go for a push with this Darkseer Scythe of Ice.
Darkseer, 3,600 gold, walking towards the Secret Shop. We'll have it just now. If not, he could even sell the bottle and make sure he does. There's a Scythe of Ice being finished. And let's see if that's the push that you're there, or let's say if that's the item they're waiting for. And here comes Risk leading down the charge on the mid lane. I mean, he doesn't actually have too much item unless the courier is delivering something, not just a pair of reserve ward. Risk being the tri-lane farmer, didn't get too much CS, and of course did get killed a couple of times, or at least once. But no, seems like they're saying, you know what, we have the Scythe, but we're going to farm a little bit more. I wonder if they're waiting for a particular item. They have to leave right now. I feel like they're kind of throwing away a window opportunity, I want to say.
Yeah, I think if you don't go for a push, it's like I mentioned a bit earlier, you need to go for a Roshan attempt or a smoke gank. You need to do something at least to get yourselves further ahead, or find something to just cause Rising Stars issues. Right now it's Rising Stars who are making the plays. They're actually going for a smoke gank bottom, and this should be an easy pickup on Risk if he's not careful. Blink side of Vice, and now Risk brought down. Shadow Demon defensive disruption doesn't come in time, and Minerva getting brought down. 2 heroes, Shackle Shot, Darkseer onto Shadow Demon, and Rising Stars. This is why aggression pays off. Chainstack just sitting back, and they gave all this space to Rising Stars. Rising Stars say, hey, we'll go for a smoking of our own, and easy tier 1 tower following up 3 hero kills, maybe even 4.
Legendary gets seen here. 1800 cast range on that Glimpse. Legendary gets Glimpse back, and that's 4 kills. Not only are we going to get that tier 1, we are going to get a tier 2, and look towards Rising Star at least threatening the Roshan. I think Mofi's RP was a little bit I don't think it was necessary at all, but he dropped it just to make sure they win that early engagement, because all those towers up on the map right now, they are money bags left to be grabbed. I felt like Anti-Mage should have been already split pushing mid for a long while. He's finally going to do it now. That's going to draw a TP. And with Anti-Mage getting the heck out of here, I think that's going to leave the Roshan a little bit more open. Maybe perhaps that's why Chains is not going to go back, at least not yet. He wants to put a tiny more pressure. And is the Rising Star going to go back for the Roach Pit? Let's see.
It's the same little trick Void was doing. Farm out your enemies neutral, so when they look to go in, well, hey, they're not there. And he's also just being as efficient as possible. He's still nearby the Roshan pit's the other big thing. Farm your enemy neutrals, deny it from them, and stay near Roshan. If Rising Stars look to make a go for it, they're not going to do so, which I think right now is not really a good time to be doing it. The good news is, despite a fight like that going the way of Rising Stars, the item progression is still, it's coming on the Faceless Void, but it's not like we're going to be seeing a refresh drop on the mag anytime soon. He's got 2k gold now, but he hasn't been getting a whole lot of farm on this mag. Void, though, he's got his full BKB.
Yeah, and now he could just jump in and even go for solo pickoffs. Glimpse back here on AM, and do we have Chrono up just yet? No, 10 seconds. He's going for the kill, but BKB gets a pop a little bit too slowly. He has lost all of his mana because of that. It doesn't have mana for that jump, which could be bad. Shackle Shot, that's going to latch onto 2. These shackles are absolutely beautiful. No follow-up damage because BKB popped late, because there's no Chrono, and I think that lost him the team fight. If he had Chrono there, that could have been at least a double, even a triple. Really dropping the ball on that small play on Xiaotuji.
Yeah, that was a bit silly of him. And now, Chainstack, they strike back. They get themselves a couple kills. It looks like they make it a tier 2 as well. I love Anti-Mage. He goes into the neutrals just because he knows he can lifesteal there off the neutrals, get himself some more HP, and tier 2 goes down. Maybe Roshan. I guess RP and Chronosphere both back online, so this is a bit risky here, but with Queen of Pain still dead for 35 seconds, that means no side of Ice. BKB on cooldown for the Faceless Void, and they're buying back, they want to contest it.
And I think this is the cue for the Chainstacks to go immediately back, and they do, and that's fine. If you're Chainstack, you say, alright, we baited out a buyback, Queen of Pain's not going to have a next big item just on the Scythe of Ice, and on the Scythe of Ice for a long while. Queen of Pain smoked up, going to lead that charge. Let's see if they want to actually go back in and start taking that one. They definitely can, especially with Empower and Mask of Madness.
Yeah, Empower Void, we mentioned already, it does a lot of damage here. You've got almost 250 damage with the extra cleave, and it also helps him continue to keep on farming. He's really starting to pull away here. As well, not so much pull away, but catch up to the Anti-Mage, who's been trailing behind for such a long time. But as far as his items go, he's looking pretty big. He has snuck into Roshan. He wants to try and bring this down on his own, but Chainstack, they're somewhat privy to this. They are in the neighborhood, and they're probably going to look to go scout this out, probably with some Shadow Poison scout.
Well, they're getting kind of late here. As Xiaotuji gets a couple of bashes on Roche, they are going to bring it down. Well, Risk getting position, call down maybe drop. There's a vacuum. BKB gets popped. Not a little bit late, but BKB not going to find anybody. They're going to go Minerva. Minerva self-disrupts, so he's going to get away. Looking for Chrono. No Chrono just yet. BKB's going to run out. Xiaotuji got to go back. Here comes Anti-Mage. Chrono is going to drop onto Anti-Mage. Shackle Shot being looked for right now. That's going to hit. Again, beautiful Chain Sun. RP's going to drop just on 2, but Void's low. He's out of mana almost. He's going to be fine. Anti-Mage, though, he is surviving. Void jumping away from his home. I'm not sure why. They know exactly where he is, and he's going to get picked off here. Vacuum backwards. He's dead. Anti-Mage, he's alive. They could go for the Roshan now if they want, or I think they're going to go for the Juggernaut. Go for the throw. Nope. Go for the Roshan.
Anti-Mage, did not have the best fight there, but Faceless Void, he got caught out even worse there. Anti-Mage was chasing around the Windrunner, getting juked all over the place, but didn't really end up to matter too much there. And I think the Mag RP was just not the RP they were looking for. There was a shackled Anti-Mage who he tried to catch in it as well, but was just out of range, and it wasn't the best RP coming out of Mofi.
Well, these leads are being built though. Anti-Mage blinking in, that's going to force a couple of heroes back. How do you feel a Basher is going to work out in this particular game? Do you think well, the way to lock down Void or other hero is what he's looking for? Or do you think he's going to try to have to survive against the Void?
I think it's nice in those 1v1 matchups to some extent, but I feel like you're not winning them unless you have numbers stacked in your favor with the stuns from the Darkseer Vacuum, from a Leshrac Split Earth. It's one of those things where he's not going to be just 1v1ing that Faceless Void very often. So I feel Bash is a bit of an unusual choice. But hey, it doesn't really matter because they're finding an opening to go get bottom Raxes here. Faceless Void still dead. No Chronosphere, no Mag RP. He's got 10 seconds to breathe here, and it looks like they'll get at least one Rax at bottom lane.
Oh man, he pops this BKB, but the Disruption not helping out right now. Risk is gonna get bashed up here. Can they get the kill? Yeah, no, they won't. Basher is gonna win that 1v1 fight, protects his ally for a tiny bit, and that's gonna allow Gyro to come back with the Black King bar. Melee Rex gets focus here, and Chainsack looking very, very good. The two illusions killing Era as well. Great job. Anti-Mage blinks around, he jukes around, he's battle fairing, cleaving the hell out of everybody. Super is gonna be dead as well, and Anti-Mage, not the anti-fun, well, maybe a little bit anti-fun if you're rooting for the Rising Stars. He is carrying this game like no other.
If you're an Australian fan out there, you're perfectly happy seeing this Anti-Mage because Chains have found their way through the mid lane. They get the tier 3 tower, get themselves some Raxes here, and it looks like this is the end for Rising Stars in game number 1. 2 sets of Raxes down, there's still 4 heroes dead. They can just go for the Mega Creeps here, and I think Rising Stars are just trying to compose themselves, think about what went wrong here, but they know this game is over. There's your GG call from the Captain Super.
Wow. I mean, like you said, the game could have gone on for 20, 25 more minutes, or it could end in the next 10 minutes. Just a series of team fights. It started looking pretty good for the Rising Star, getting that huge team fight on the bot lane, and then picking off the Leshrac, and then even going for the tier 2. But one mistake against this kind of mid-game aggression, and you're done.
Well, Rising Stars will have to look to bounce back in game number 2. Maybe look towards, I don't know if he justified banning the Anti-Mage. It's obviously not Chains' only hero, but it's the go-to strategy for the Chain stack. They have the ability to run it as a solo like they did this game, and if they want to, based on the draft, they can run it as a tri-lane. They're strong with this pick. It's something which needs to be addressed. Rising Stars, well, they picked up their 3 solos, or their 3 farmers, the Queen of Pain, Mag, and Void in their first 3 picks. They were left with a Windrunner and Disruptor support, and as a result, their trialing just wasn't quite strong enough to go head-to-head with the Chain stack.
For me, that's the X factor, how the trialing is, because I think Rising Star could send their trialing and gank the Anti-Mage, but they never was able to gank because their trialing was weaker. They have to protect their voice. So that's going to be for me for the X factor going into game 2. But for now, Chainsack takes game number 1 in a spectacular fashion. We'll be back for game number 2. This has been a presentation of Beyond the Summit. We are Lumion Gods. Hope you guys enjoyed it. We'll be back for game 2 momentarily.